I mean, is it I'm in space? I'm in space. Oh man, I'm in space.
Looks like John Boyega might be stepping into the MCU as Blue Marvel. Or at least that's what the rumors are saying. And that's not even the wildest part. Word is he could make an appearance in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie, which actually makes sense if you know his comic book backstory and powers. This guy's been called a Galactus-level threat after all. So let's break down everything we've heard so far about Blue Marvel's possible future in the MCU. Even though Blue Marvel was only created in 2008, his story fits perfectly into Marvel's deep historical timeline. Adam Brashear, the man behind the mask, isn't just another superhero, he's a nuclear physicist, a war veteran, and someone who lived through the civil rights era. What makes him especially fascinating is that Marvel went back and retroactively placed him in the 1960s, essentially rewriting parts of its own universe to fit him in as a classic hero. It's kind of like what they did with Isaiah Bradley in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, only this time the powers are cosmic level. Adam's transformation into Blue Marvel happened after a scientific accident while working with antimatter and the negative zone. This accident turned him into a living antimatter reactor, giving him powers on par with Superman: super strength, flight, invulnerability, energy manipulation, the works. But the public wasn't ready. After a fight revealed his face and people saw he was black, the government, fearing backlash, asked him to step down. Even President John F. Kennedy thought it was too risky during the tense climate of the civil rights movement. So instead of being celebrated, he was quietly pushed into retirement. It's the kind of story that doesn't just belong in the comics, it needs to be told on screen. Now fast forward to today, Marvel Studios is deep into its multiverse and cosmic saga with phases 5 and 6. We've already met Shang-Chi, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, and more, and yet there's still room for someone like Blue Marvel to come in and shake things up in a good way. John Boyega's name has been floated around as a dream casting choice for Adam Brashear, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. His past roles have tackled identity, injustice, and empowerment, and bringing that same fire into the MCU would make Blue Marvel stand out instantly. Plus, Marvel Studios' VP of Production and Development, Nate Moore, is already on board. He talked about how impactful Blue Marvel's origin story could be, especially the part where his race becomes the reason he's asked to disappear, even though he's just saved the day. Moore even compared Brashear to a modern-day Captain Nemo, someone brilliant, mysterious, and going on these massive space adventures. So clearly, there's interest behind the scenes to bring him in. And here's where it gets really exciting. Blue Marvel could show up in the Fantastic Four reboot. That's right. There's precedent in the comics for this. In fact, Blue Marvel has worked alongside Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four in several storylines. Given that the MCU is moving more into the cosmic and multiverse territory, where characters like Kang, Galactus, and the Beyonder exist, it only makes sense to introduce someone who can handle those kinds of threats. Blue Marvel isn't just another strong guy. He's one of the few people who could realistically go head-to-head with beings like Galactus. So if you're building up to universe-ending stakes, you need someone like him on the roster. And that's just the beginning. After returning to action in the comics, Brashear eventually becomes an Avenger, which opens the door to a ton of crossover potential in the MCU. But it gets better. A few years later, he teams up with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel herself, to form a new group called the Ultimates. This isn't your average superhero squad. The Ultimates are all about tackling problems that go beyond Earth, like full-blown cosmic threats. Their first mission? Solving Galactus's hunger. Now, if you know anything about Galactus, you know he's the cosmic giant who literally eats planets to survive. He's been one of Marvel's biggest villains for decades. But Blue Marvel, being the brilliant physicist that he is, helps find a way to transform Galactus from a destroyer of worlds into a life-bringer. They basically flip his purpose. He starts creating life instead of consuming it. Galactus even revisits Archaeopia, the very first planet he ever destroyed, and brings it back to life. It's one of the most incredible redemption arcs in comic book history. And while the whole Ultimates team helps make it happen, it's Brashear's knowledge of antimatter that plays the biggest role in saving countless lives. that kind of storytelling would translate beautifully to the MCU. We've seen Marvel dig into the personal struggles of its characters, but Blue Marvel's journey offers something different. It blends science fiction, social commentary, and emotional depth in a way that hasn't really been done on this scale before. And let's be real, this guy has range. He's a genius, a former soldier, a father, and someone who's constantly torn between wanting to help the world and not wanting to be seen as a threat to it. That internal conflict, that's something a great actor like Boyega could absolutely run with. It's not just about being powerful, it's about how you use that power, especially when the world doesn't always see you as a hero. Even though Blue Marvel hasn't gotten the same spotlight as other Marvel heavyweights, that's slowly starting to change. He's led one of the most powerful superhero teams in the comics, helped redeem Galactus, and consistently chooses non-violent solutions to cosmic-level problems. That's a refreshing take in a universe where punching first and asking questions later is usually the go-to move. If Marvel does decide to bring Blue Marvel into the fold, there are a bunch of places he could show up. Fantastic Four makes a ton of sense because of the cosmic ties and the chance to interact with other genius-level characters like Reed Richards. But he could also appear in a future Avengers lineup, especially as the team reforms to face Secret Wars-level threats. Then there's the Marvel sequel, or a possible Ultimates Disney Plus series where he could reunite with Monica Rambeau. In the comics, he deeply respects Monica, and their powers complement each other in really cool ways. So pairing them up would not only be powerful, it would feel earned. And while the MCU has already given us powerful black heroes like T'Challa and Sam Wilson, Blue Marvel adds something unique. So whether it's in Fantastic Four, a new Avengers lineup, or a cosmic series like The Ultimates, Blue Marvel's time is coming. His story is powerful, his presence would be meaningful, and his abilities are practically tailor-made for where the MCU is headed. There's a bunch of reasons to get excited about him finally showing up, because at the end of the day, people may have overlooked him in the comics for too long, but that doesn't mean they always will. With the right creative team, the right actor, and the right moment, Blue Marvel could go from one of Marvel's most underrated heroes to one of its most unforgettable. And honestly, it's about time. And that's that for today's video. If you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel, click the like button, and comment what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.